The title of this poem is The Lost Language. I am my grandpa's little girl. He looks at me with tender eyes and speaks a language oh so wise. I listen to him wide-eyed, all my focus to him tied. I look intently at his hand gestures, trying to fathom all his measures. Fragments I understand, words I've heard beforehand, the language that's known, yet still unknown. I listen, every word a mission, consciously and constantly translate all that is being said. For his first language is not mine. I wonder if there was a time before all of this, before I could speak, as a toddler sleeping on his lap while I took a nap, did we understand each other better, when there was no need to utter. I am my grandpa's little girl. I wait for him to put together my broken sentences better, like different pieces of puzzles on a platter. He smiles down at me with twinkle, his face 1,000 wrinkles, displaying his many years on this planet, a life lived like a sonnet. I wonder when we lost our language. I wonder when we lost our touch. I am my grandpa's little girl. His sparse hairs tells of his limited time. I wish I could give him mine. Yet his warmth remains the same as we sit silently across the burning flame. In the kacha kitchen with the thatched roof, amidst his huntings and its proof, I am my grandpa's little girl. He left us to stay in his forever home and took with him his unsaid words. I do worry of his unfinished stories that I will never learn, except when I tried hard in the world to blend. Often when the lights are dim, I think of my time with him. Our conversations in despair, stretched silences fill the air. I regret to have known him and to not understand him. The lost language is the culprit, or am I really my grandpa's little girl? सहमी सहमी सी एक सोच है, सांसों को दबाए वो बोझ है कि मेरा प्यार प्यार न रहा. सहमी सहमी सी एक सोच है, सांसों को दबाए वो बोझ है कि मेरा प्यार प्यार न रहा. तेरा यूं गुम जाना, मेरा गमों में डूब जाना, भला कहाँ का न्याय है. तेरा यूं गुम जाना, मेरा गमों में डूब जाना, भला कहाँ का न्याय है. कल ही तो कैफे में मिले थे हम, 2 कप कॉफी में घुले थे हम. जैसे कल ही तो इजहार हुआ था, तब तो तुमने इनकार नहीं किया था. अब यूं मेरे आबरू को खरोचते क्यों आ रहे हो, मेरा प्यार क्यों मुझे सता रहे हो. बहुत देर से क्यों सोचा तुमने, बहुत देर से क्यों सोचा तुमने कि मम्मी नहीं मानेगी. बहुत देर से ही क्यों सोचा तुमने, बहुत जल्द हाथ मेरा क्यों पकड़ा तुमने. ये ऊंच नीच की बातें बिरादरी के पुराने खाते खोल क्यों रहे हो. ये ऊंच नीच की बातें बिरादरी के पुराने खाते खोल क्यों रहे हो. मेरी गलतियां तोल क्यों रहे हो. ये ऊंच नीच की बातें बिरादरी के पुराने खाते, इन्हें जला क्यों नहीं देते तुम, जड़ों से मिटा क्यों नहीं देते तुम. भस्म कर दो ना, भस्म कर दो ना इन बातों को, खत्म कर दो ना हालातों को. भस्म कर दो ना इन बातों को, खत्म कर दो ना हालातों को. उन्हीं हाथों से जो हाथ थामा था मैंने, मेरा प्यार बता ना जरा क्यों मुझे सता रहे.
Jimmy, congratulations on your second book.
Thank you so much.
So, would like to know about your inspiration in writing this book. Can you share?
This book has not been written in one sitting. It's a compilation of many poems that I had written in the past 4 or 5 years, and I realized that
obviously what I'm writing reflects a part of who I am. So that was when I saw through my writings, I felt like it makes a beautiful story, and that's how the poem also has been arranged. It's like because when I'm writing, I'm talking to people who will read me, right? So this book, all the poems, it's like a letter. That's what the intro also says. It's like a letter from me to whoever will be reading it. And all the inspirations are my everyday interactions that I have with my friends, family, even strangers also. If something strikes me, I'll take it as an inspiration and I'll work for it. Nothing great, just very everyday small interactions.
A little bit about your book.
This book.
Yes, yes.
This book is a compilation of 21 poems. And because when I first came up with my first book, that was in English, and then I started putting up videos in Hindi poem and English, of course, but the majority of comments they were towards the leaning towards the Hindi content. But I realized that there were many people who were like, we cannot read like that in commenting in the YouTube videos, literally. So I asked in my social media whether you want the next book to be in English or Hindi, and many people were like, we love your Hindi content, but we cannot read it. So that's how the theme of this book came. So it's front on both sides. The book ends in the middle, and from the beginning it's in Hindi and also Devanagari Lipi, or पीछे की तरफ से it is in English, but it's not a translation. It's in Roman script.
Okay, so just like आपकी जो किताब है, it's तुम्हारी प्रिय, it's in Hindi, and also just like you have said that your book, आपका जो book है दोनों side पे translation है. तो as a poet, what kind of difficulties you face while translating? Because in the process of translation, we lost the essence
Yes,
of
yes.
the that poem. So आपका कैसा रहा?
My very personal experience was when I was translating my Galo poem from Galo to English and Hindi, Hindi mostly, because I was representing Arunachal. People will not understand Galo. But when I sat down to translate, I could not capture the essence. It was very difficult for me. Even though I did, but it was not up to the mark. Like the Galo poem is way better than the translated version. That is why it is not a translation. It is a Hindi poem itself, but the script is in English, because I believe poem is it is easier to translate. I'm very sorry to say this, but it is definitely a bit comparatively easier to translate stories and novels. But poetry has a different essence. It's very difficult to capture in translation. So I did not do that. I kept it in Hindi, but it is in English script.
Okay, so last question
Yeah.
would be just like you said, APLA, you're a member of APLA, and you often see that through APLA, a lot of young budding writers comes get their book get published. So, any words for APLA for always providing this space for you guys?
I think APLS is definitely an umbrella. It's like a big umbrella that we find our shelter in, because we get lost. Even today, I don't know how to actually conduct a book launch, right? So I can Google about it, but the people that I can actually ask in person are the core members of APLS and our secretary Mukul Pathak ji and President Sir Vaidi Tongchi sir is always there, no, ready to help us. And even through this journey, I was constantly in contact with him. So I think they're very helpful. They tell us what to do, what is correct, and what can be improved, like that. So they give us that space where we can grow, and I think that for that we are very thankful.